Hello and welcome back to Rage Gaming on more Wilds title update 2.5, the August update. With this we have our new 9-star monster hunts, which reward the new glowing stones which turn into our new talismans. The question is, are these talismans worth it? And if so, what is the best thing you can do to actually farm these out as efficiently and effectively as possible? Well, taking a look at a few talismans, we can definitely see there's great potential here. Right now, your rarity 8 talismans seem to be your best bet, especially in the case of some valuable offensive skill, a great secondary skill at their max levels with the decoration slots on top. There is potential here for new builds. To get these talismans then you have two options. You have the hunts themselves which reward the glowing stones that turn into the talismans. This can come in a variety of amounts, and so we want to maximize the amount per time. On the other hand, you have the new Melder update that you can find in Suja, which allows you to turn dud talismans you don't care about into new talismans, or use the new rarity 7 tickets from melding to generate those. We get our first one for free by completing our first 9-star hunt of the week for a bounty, so don't forget to collect that. As you can see, the difficulty of the 9-star hunts can actually scale, and in my experience I'm seeing most commonly this difference between a 4-star and a 5-star, so it's a 9-4 or a 9-5. Naturally, the harder star level, as before, is going to increase damage and health most of all in most cases, especially in multiplayer where it gets ridiculous. A 9-star hunt that's also a 5-star in difficulty is probably going to be the hardest version of that monster you can find in the game, so you got to be up for a challenge for this stuff. But obviously the rewards are well worth it. Now, things have changed actually in this patch. The Wounded Hollow, the arena, can now feature apex monsters like Raidao and Udra, and could always have Mizutsune. Therefore, those three are easily our ideal targets in the arena, where you've got a very limited area of play. You don't have to worry about lure pods to prevent the monster from leaving. You don't have to worry about extra mechanics like water and otherwise. It's just you and the monster, and so it's often the most efficient place that you can take on a fight. You want to be checking the arena then if there's one up, and don't forget that you can also check the forecast to see what's coming. The problem with the current 9-star system is that it's not clear what is actually a 9-star. So something that we can do is make use of the wishlist system. This is a tip from my friend Shrad that I thought was pretty genius. Find an item that has Hunter Symbol 3, the tickets, as a reward and wishlist it. Then naturally, anything that's going to give that will be marked with that icon. As you can see, this tempered arkveld, it's got that icon. Meanwhile, when I scroll down and see if there's anything else that would fit that category, like say that tempered arkveld right there, interestingly, it doesn't have the wishlist icon on it, which means it's not going to give me the Hunter Symbol 3. Why is that? Because it must be a 9-star. So it's kind of the only way we can see what's coming up and have any idea whether it might be a 9-star. I think it's a clever tip, something you might want to use. Either way, when it comes to the arena, your top targets are going to be Rei, Udra and Mizu for the 9-star hunts. This is the best thing to do. Outside of that, we need to look at the rewards and consider the target, the situation, the difficulty, and whether it's going to be worth the rewards. As you can see, you can have up to 5 glowing stones per target, but it's easily possible to get much worse than that, like just 3 with this Mizu here. In this case then, we can see the max potential for 1 target. 5 reward boxes, but that isn't the max potential overall. As you can see, these reward boxes can double, just like you might see with old relics. So each box could be 2 glowing stones instead of 1. The ideal situation would be this then, a gore magala in this case, with double rewards in each of the 5 boxes. So if every hunt you do has 10 glowing stones per monster, that's peak, that's maximum reward. But it's not like it's the end of the world to have 9 or 8 or 7. 5 is the baseline in my opinion that's worth doing, and doubling that is obviously even better. Great hunts still exist though. As you can see, we can get more than 5 boxes by doing a great hunt, which basically means there's 2 targets. In this case then, we can have up to 10 of these bonus rewards, and that's what we're looking for in any great hunt. As you can see, the same potential applies. 10 bonus reward boxes, and all of them can be double, so your maximum one single quest reward for these glowing stones is 20 glowing stones in one hunt. Obviously that's the peak, but things do come into play here, like the actual challenge you're dealing with. Let's say it's 2 monsters, but both of them are absolutely monstrous and difficult. Maybe that reward isn't as good for you. Maybe there's just 1 9-star there, and a second monster that's a pushover, and it's well worth it, even though the double box rewards aren't as great in that example. So let's talk about what I consider the easiest monsters to hunt in general for the rewards. In my opinion, the easiest and fastest hunts are going to be monsters like Mizutsune here, Udra, Raidao, and duna. They generally have the smallest health pools, and in my opinion, are easier to deal with mechanically too. Monsters that reach more of a medium difficulty and time are monsters like arkveld. The problem with arkveld is it's very resistant in general. Elements are just not good against this guy as one case, so he's one of the slower targets to kill because of that. It definitely has an impact. But with how many arkvelds we've hunted in general at this point, you could be unbelievable at killing these, so it won't matter. Another target that I consider in that medium length time will be lagiacrus, but this depends. Are you good at fighting this monster? And how much are you maximizing? Like using flash pods and lure pods and boulders on the way to prevent it from moving away. You want to prevent it moving to its final area to do the underwater phase, which is essentially a time waster. If you're unable to do that, then I would actually consider lagiacrus in the longest bracket, and maybe one of the worst targets because of it. But if you're up for that, you enjoy the hunt, who cares? In the longest bracket, I've got monsters like dahaad here. Not because it's like one of the hardest monsters in the game or anything, but it is a massive Leviathan monster with a massive health pool, especially multiplayer, especially 9-star tempered. There's also a lot of time wasting mechanics here, as it moves from area to area to area until you finally end up in that final area. Where, by the way, there's mechanics that protect its back before it actually does its first super, making it one of the most inefficient targets to farm in my opinion. Just something to consider. Maybe more obvious than that would be something like gore magala here, who is unbelievable in terms of health pool, aggression, and is considered one of the hardest monsters in the game generally. A 5-star, 9-star, gore magala is going to be one of the scariest things in the game. But the thing is, in this case, as I showed you, I have some unbelievable drops here. For me, that is well worth the time. Obviously, it's case by case. I also put seregios in the worst tier for this, like longest. Obviously, people consider seregios one of the hardest monsters in the game as well, up there with gore almost. And if you're not good at the fight, there's a lot of downtime where you're just not hitting the guy because he's flying around, which obviously adds to time. Something important to consider. Now, to maximum farm, you're going to want to be rest spamming and resetting the area, obviously. First thing we can do is take a look at the areas and go, hang on, there's no warming stones rewards there, none there, none there, none there, and none there. And then we check the arena. Strongly recommend that you check the forecast for the arena, just in case one of those ideal targets of Rainu, Udra, or Mizu show up here in a 9-star form that's worth waiting for. So rather than resting in the Grand Hub or Suja where you can't affect the time of inclemency, you want to pick one of the ideal targets. What is your fastest 9-star apex? Is it Duna, Raidao, or Nuudra? Let's say mine is Raidao. Then I'm going to make sure to come to the Windward Plains where I'm going to force a time of inclemency over and over, making it significantly more likely that Raidao will spawn. But an important thing here to think about is the fact that they've changed it in Tile Update 2.5. Apex predators can now spawn outside of a time of inclemency if you're hunter rank 100 plus, which means even though I'm forcing it and making it way more likely that Ray spawns in this area, it's not like it couldn't otherwise, and the other locales still might. In this case, we've got lucky, and we've got 2 9-stars. With some decent rewards here, one of them a 4-star instead of a 5-star, that's a decent result. We also got a tempered seregios just showing up anyway on its own, and that's a 6 box for 1 hunt. I'm pretty happy with that too. But we can still look at the other locations to see if the apexes have spawned, or any other 9-stars, just in case while we're doing this. And importantly again, check the arena and what's coming up. This is a great showcase too of another concept. Let's say that I had this tempered seregios here showing up as a 9-star, and very soon a time of inclemency or something was happening. I check the forecast and see, oh look, a 9-star Raidao is coming up. So in a couple minutes, this tempered seregios is also going to be joined by a Raidao. Could be a 9-star. Both of these could spawn in as 9-star hunts, which would be great as individual quests. But as you can see, they also fit a great hunt, making a unique quest that has both of them with double box potential rewards and up to 10 potential as we said. So it's a good idea to check the forecast just in case anyone else is going to show up that might fit and trigger a great hunt with massive reward potential. Right, let's finish this off with some general bonus tips. Guild points get pretty expensive with these, as you can see. I've been spending like 650 or 700 in investigation spawn, but be aware that the rewards are really good for guild points in exchange. If you find yourself burning through them, then do consider doing some of the ones that you have now, even if the rewards are lower. You're still going to get talismans and in general get guild points. Don't forget that the bounties are also increased now with this update. They provide much greater guild point rewards, and so they're even more worth doing, since they're also going to reward a rarity 7 silver ticket for the 10 melds as we mentioned earlier. Even more important that you do them. As a couple in-hunt tips though, make sure you're capturing and not worrying about slaying guys. It is so much faster. These guys have much bigger health pools, and so burning through that extra bit when it's skulled anyway is pointless. Just bring some traps, some trank bombs or whatever, and get it done so much quicker. Don't forget that you can maximize your time by preventing the monster from leaving its initial area. You can do this by using lure pods. You can fire up to 3 to prevent it leaving multiple times, use focus strikes on wounds and such to interrupt and knock it down, traps will also hold it in place, and even flash pods just to blind it for a while, prevent it from leaving. All of that can have a great impact on how long the hunt lasts. Don't forget that you can also use the new favourite system at the end of a hunt too. So at the end, you check each individual talisman you've got, and then by pressing square from me with a controller, you get to favourite the item, keeping it. Then anything not favorited once you go to the melder, you can instantly get rid of, saving you the time from sorting later. Also, never sell a talisman. It should all go into the meld reroll whenever possible. One final tip here is the potential of melding is really high. Obviously we have 4 varieties of charms here, the unknown, historical, secret, and then the rarity 8, which are worth 10 as you can see. Technically you could put one of these golden age charms and then just 1-for-1 meld another rarity 8 charm, meaning it's possible to infinite loop there and just send them until you get what you want. More likely you're going to be dumping the lower quality ones, and since the rarity 8 ones are so good with so much more potential than the rest, you can generally feel okay about getting rid of unknowns, historicals, and even secrets in many cases. Just keep the ones that you know that you definitely are liking, skills at good levels, decoration slots. Even if it's a rarity 7, it might be worth running for you for now. But very likely, your rarity 6s and 5s you can get rid of, because rarity 8s are so much better, and that's what we're kind of hunting. But yeah, there's my quick overview of the talismans and how to maximize your farming of them. I hope there's some good information there and you learned something new. If you guys have any other advice or just more suggestions to help others, let us know in the comments. But we'll be covering everything we learn as we go though, so expect more updates on this topic in the near future. Until then, I've been Hollow, you've been you. Thanks for watching.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.